Train pulling into Yankee Stadium, and when you stop, you come on inside. You got a pretty good baseball game going on, at least it's about to, as the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Baltimore Orioles in the first of three from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with Ken Singleton. I'm Michael Kay. Well, the Yankees had a pretty good homestand, and if you think about it, they had a real good weekend against the Detroit Tigers. Yesterday, they won 6-2 to take 2 out of 3 against the Tigers, and the bottom line is CC Sabathia was the man, just as they needed him to be.
Well, the bullpen had been heavily worked the day before. Freddie Garcia had a short start, so the Yankees needed length from CC Sabathia, and he provided just that. 8 strong innings, 8 strikeouts, and he was just wonderful, picked up his 3rd win of the year. The big man is getting it together, as the Tigers found out yesterday afternoon. He got some offensive help from Curtis Granderson. This will be his 8th home run of the year. Almost wasn't. Austin Jackson watched the effort in center field. Granderson now has 7 of his 8 home runs here at Yankee Stadium. Yep, keep going, Curtis. That's number 8 on the season.
Last 8 games, we thought these were going to be litmus tests. They were 2-0 in Boston. The Sunday game was rained out. They stumbled a bit in Texas, 1-2. Against the Tigers, 2-1. They could score runs, but obviously the ERA has to improve. 5-3 in those games, not too bad at all. Speaking of not too bad, the Baltimore Orioles have been better than that. They have exceeded everybody's expectations, and yesterday they ended a homestand in very dramatic fashion.
Yeah, they were 5-1 on their recent homestand, swept the Blue Jays and took 2 out of 3 from the Oakland A's because of this swing by Wilson Betemit. The Orioles had tied the game at 2 in the 9th inning, and then the 3-run home run by Betemit gives them a 5-2 victory and a 5-1 homestand.
So the Orioles are 14-8. Remember, they got swept by the Yankees in 3 games in Baltimore, but they're 11-5 since that sweep, 6-1 in their last 7 games. Check out that ERA. They've got some power, and their bullpen, ERA-wise, it's the best in the American League. Speaking of pitching, Hiroki Kuroda will get the start for the Yankees. What's he done lately? How did he pitch in his last start? What can we expect tonight? Kenny will talk about it next. Welcome back to Yankees baseball, everybody. Let's look at tonight's New York Lottery pitching matchup. For the Orioles, Jason Hammel has had a very good start, 3-0, 1.73. Hiroki Kuroda, some good, some bad, 1-3 with a 4.38 ERA. Welcome back to the booth, everybody. That's Ken Singleton, and I'm Michael Kay. For Kuroda, the Yankees would want more of the pitcher that pitched on the home opener here at the stadium. 2 starts, he's been so-so. The last start, though, against Texas, thought he did a pretty good job.
He did a pretty good job, although he ran into a heavy-hitting Texas team and a very good pitcher in Yu Darvish. Started off kind of shaky. Bottom of the 1st inning. First hitter he faces Ian Kinsler. And Kinsler's going to run this one into the Yankee bullpen. His 5th home run of the season. Gave Texas an immediate 1-0 lead. From that point on, Kuroda settled down. He worked 6 2/3 inning, allowed just 1 more run, had 5 strikeouts. The problem for the Yankees that night, they did not score. They were shut out 2-0 by Yu Darvish and the Texas Rangers.
See how he does against the Orioles here at 161st Street. We've got a baseball game. Lineups, first pitch, and that game next, right here on Yes. Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. By Blimpie, America's sub shop. And by the professionals at your Tri-State GMC dealer. Why just go? You can go pro. A little bit of a chill in the air here on a Monday night at Yankee Stadium. Wind is whipping. Seems like it's whipping toward the outfield, so that would be good for the hitters and bad for the pitchers. Hiroki Kuroda will take his first try against the Orioles hitters. Let's take a look at the Orioles starting lineup put together by manager Buck Showalter. The Orioles are 14-8, and they lead off their left fielder Nolan Reimold. J.J. Hardy, the shortstop, will bat second. Batting third and playing right field, Nick Markakis. Adam Jones in center field will clean up. Batting fifth and catching, Matt Wieters. Chris Davis, the first baseman, bats sixth. The number 7 hitter, third baseman Wilson Betemit. Mark Reynolds, the DH, will hit 8th, and batting 9th and playing second base, Robert Andino.
Veteran Hiroki Kuroda on the mound tonight for the Yankees. He has never faced the Baltimore Orioles before. So this is his first look at the Birds from Baltimore. So far this season, 4 starts, 1 and 3, 4.38. You can see 17 strikeouts in 24 2/3 innings. The opponent's batting .286 against him. Let's check out our pitcher scouting report. You too good. His last start was a good one for Kuroda. But for Yu Darvish of the Texas Rangers, it was even better. He shut out the Yankees, or almost had a complete game shutout with 10 strikeouts. Yankee tradition. At the end of last year, Kuroda was a free agent. He had a chance to go back and pitch for his Hiroshima Carp, but he decided to pitch for the Yankees because of the tradition, and they had players like Jeter and A-Rod, Mariano Rivera, and CC Sabathia. That's why he came to the Yankees. And while he was in Japan, he earned the reputation as a giant killer. Pitching for the Carp, he routinely beat the Tokyo Giants, the best team in Japan.
Nolan Reimold is ready. So is Kuroda, and let's do it here in the Bronx. And the first pitch is upstairs, and we are underway. Reimold carries a 14-game hitting streak into this game, and he's 21 for 59 during that time. Off to a nice start. There's a strike. Clips the outside corner. Jerry Lane is the home plate umpire.
During the course of spring training, Buck Showalter, the Oriole manager, was looking for a leadoff hitter and a cleanup hitter, and both of the guys he's inserted in those spots are doing well.
Line drive left field, and Nunez gets his first try, and he'll put it away for the first out. Why don't we check out the Yankee defense, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. Nunez will make his first start in left field, and in the outfield with him, Curtis Granderson in center, Raul Ibanez in right. Infield, Chavez, Jeter, Cano, and Teixeira third to first, Martin behind the plate, and Kuroda is on the mound.
Nunez got a tester right off the fence, a line drive to left, and the toughest play for an outfielder is line drive right at him.
J.J. Hardy takes a strike. Off to a slow start, 181, 4 hits in his last 22 at bats. 1-1. Without Nunez out there, the Yankees really wouldn't have a backup outfielder. Right now it's Andrew Jones on the bench, but if Jones was forced to start, that one is grounded to Chavez. 2 outs. Then Nunez would have had to be an emergency outfielder, but they like his athletic skills, so he's out there. Jones is on the bench. Nick Swisher not on the DL, but the hamstring would prohibit him from playing today.
Nunez is sort of like Mr. Everything.
Yep.
We've seen him at short, second, third, and now left field.
Well, they love his bat, so if you can get his bat in the lineup. And he's holding out his hands to the Yankee dugout. They're directing him on every batter. They moved him closer to the line for Markakis, who they expect to go that way. And the first pitch is a strike on the outside corner.
It should be interesting to see him maneuver around in the outfield tonight, from hitter to hitter.
Count 0-2. Markakis 5 hits in 20 at bats. Served into left field, coming on Nunez, and he makes the play. So he gets tested, and he passes the test as Kuroda works a 1-2-3 inning. He does it on 9 pitches, and that's the first inning 1-2-3 Kuroda's had this year, and a nice play by Nunez. Orioles nothing. Yankees coming to bat.
Defensive left fielders I've seen over the year. Maybe the best was Ricky Henderson.
Barry Bonds wasn't too bad.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
Let's take a look at tonight's Yankees starting lineup presented by Lexus. The captain, the shortstop, Derek Jeter, leads off. Batting second and playing center field, Curtis Granderson. Alex Rodriguez, the DH, will hit third. Cleaning up, second baseman Robinson Cano. Mark Teixeira's at first base. He'll bat fifth. Batting sixth, playing right field, Raul Ibanez. Eric Chavez, the third baseman, bats seventh. The number 8 hitter is the catcher, Russell Martin. And we've already seen Eduardo Nunez at left. He'll bat ninth.
Jason Hamill on the mound for the Baltimore Orioles. He's off to a fantastic start. The Orioles got him in a trade with Colorado Rockies during the winter. Look at these numbers. 4-start ERA at 1.73. He's 3-0. Only 18 hits in 26 innings. Opponents hitting just 194. Let's check out the pitcher scouting report. His first win as a starter came against the Yankees on his birthday, September 2nd of 2007. We'll get to the rest of it in just a second.
He's ready to go as Jeter is getting ready in the batter's box. Hamill works quickly. Pitch outside.
29 years apart from the day that Hamill was born, his son Beckett was born. Just last year, 2011. So same birthday. And he's an innings eater. 3 years in a row for the Rockies. He pitched over 170 innings.
Well, he's one of the rare pitchers that's making the move from the National League to the American League and excelling. He must just love being out at Coors Field in the high altitude. Grounded to second, gobbled up by Andino. 1 out. Let's check out the Orioles defense, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. Reimold, Adam Jones, and Nick Markakis, left to right in the outfield. Infield, Betamit, Hardy, Andino, and Davis, third to first. Wieters behind the plate, Hamill on the mound. The Orioles' weakness would be their defense. They do not have a great defensive team.
Yeah, they've made the most errors in the league, although yesterday made several great defensive plays, but they've made 22 errors. The Yankees have made the fewest errors in the league. They've only made 7.
Granderson, 8 home runs, 7 of them have come here at the stadium. His swing is just perfect for this ballpark, the way the ball travels to right field. Let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. 56 degrees as that one is skied to left center. Reimold is there, 2 away. Come on, that was too quick. Let's give people a real Hardy weather report here. It's only fair.
It is mostly fair.
56 degrees, 39% humidity. The wind is 12 miles per hour. It's partly cloudy. And we thank the people of Bigelow. All right, here's Alex Rodriguez. Alex 5 for 11 in the set against Detroit. 1-0.
One thing that Hamill has done to improve his pitching, he's worked on a sinker. Oriole pitching coach Rick Adair has helped him with it. It's really gotten a number of ground balls.
Orioles got a lot of criticism trading Jeremy Guthrie for Hamill. Guthrie was a popular player, probably their best pitcher last year, but he's going to be a free agent at the end of this year, and they figured let's get a younger guy with more upside. And Hamill is 29, though, and they just feel they can make it work more with him.
They also got Matt Lindstrom in the deal, the Orioles did, and a hard-throwing right-hander out of the bullpen.
10th round pick by the Rays in 2002. Made his major league debut for the Rays.
You hear what happened to Guthrie the other day?
Yeah, he was riding his bike.
Fell off the bike and fell on his pitching shoulder. The chain broke while he was riding.
And Alex walks.
Guthrie used to ride his bike to Camden Yards when he was pitching for the Orioles. It's a lot more hilly in Denver.
You would think.
It's hard to stop a bike with no chain.
Buck Showalter with 999 victories. Trying to become the 58th manager in history with 1,000 wins. 29 of the previous 57, they're in the Hall of Fame. And 13 of them are not yet eligible. Buck's been around a while. Here's Cano. Starting to heat up. Yesterday he picked up 2 hits. Had a sac fly as well. They're waiting for him to bust out. Lefties do not hit well against Hamill. 159 so far this year.
Cano had 2 singles to center yesterday, and that's a good sign when you hit the ball right back where it came from.
Loves hitting against the Orioles in 120 games at .344 average.
You know the Orioles have tried just about everything they can to get this guy out, and they've just had problems over his career. Robinson hit the ball to all fields. The defense is straight away against him.
It's weird because it's different pitchers, different managers, different pitching coaches.
It's just some teams that you feel comfortable against in certain ballparks. You know, Camden Yards is one of those places where just about every hitter likes to hit. There's John Russell, the bench coach, going through the signs from Matt Wieters. And we had that shot of Buck Showalter. Orioles are 6 games over 500 for the first time since 2005. But it's been a while. That's going back to July 20th of 2005. They were 50 and 44 at the time.
Swing and a miss. He strikes out Cano, and that'll do it. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 man left. We've played 1 at the stadium. Yankees in the Orioles scoreless. Adam Jones will lead off against Hiroki Kuroda. you won't have to miss a game again now that you can watch live Yes Network Yankee games on your PCs or laptops with Time Warner Cable. Get a full season of live Yankees games on the go for just $49.99 if you're a Time Warner Cable customer. Go to yesnetwork.com to get more information and subscribe now. Well, we go to the second. Kuroda worked his first 1-2-3 first inning of the year. A little help defensively from Eduardo Nunez.
You almost got the feeling that Baltimore was picking on him in left field in the first inning.
Eight-game hitting streak for Adam Jones, 12 for 31 during that time, hitting .330.
Yeah, I'd mentioned that Buck Showalter was looking for a cleanup hitter, and it appears as though Adam Jones is settling into that role. In Baltimore over the weekend, they unveiled a statue of Frank Robinson. They'd like to have him hit like Frank Robinson did out of the cleanup spot. What do you think?
As good as Jones is, not likely.
No, he's not going to hit like Frank Robinson.
Frank Robinson was pretty special.
Yes, he was.
As you see, the Orioles have gone back to their cartoon bird on their hat. For the last many years, they've had the ornithologically correct bird. But this one evokes good memories for the Orioles. Won a championship wearing that hat. Very happy O.
Yeah, it was a lot to smile about back in those days.
The 2-2. Count 3-2.
Rode his fastball sitting around 90 miles an hour so far. He threw a good slider to Jones earlier in this at bat. Let's see what he goes to on 3-2 here.
Went off speed, and that's the first base runner for Baltimore. That's going to be Matt Wieters' turn now. A first-round draft pick that panned out just fine for the O's.
Last year, Wieters came into his own defensively, earned himself a Gold Glove, and this year you're getting the feeling that the offense is starting to catch up to his defensive abilities. He's got 6 home runs already, tied with Jones for the team lead.
High drive, right field. Ibanez back. He's on the track. He's at the wall. He leaps. Can't make the play. And Wieters will stop at first with a very long single as Adam Jones is at third.
Ibanez gets to the wall, and it looked to me like this ball broke off of his glove. Did it actually get some leather on it? He made his move too soon. He leaped a little too soon. And he was coming down as the ball was still up there up against the wall. You watch him, the glove recede, and the ball hits the wall and stays in the ballpark. So the timing was off on what would have been a pretty good catch.
So first and third, nobody out. And here's Chris Davis. 5-game hitting streak for Davis. High drive, deep left. Nunez back, still back on the track, and he makes the play as he hits into the wall. Jones will tag and score. Heading back to first is Wieters, a sac fly for Davis, and the Orioles lead 1-0, but a nice play for a neophyte left fielder.
Nunez tested for the 3rd time in this game. Davis gets pretty good wood on it. Maybe not his best swing, but Up against the wall is Nunez. He holds on as he crashes into the wall. Ball kind of rattles around but stays in the glove. Orioles going to pick up a run. He tracked it all the way. You know, maybe a more experienced outfielder would have ran back to the wall, then looked up and found the ball. There's various ways of doing it, but it's all in the result. He caught it.
Here's Betamit. After he made that play, Granderson was right near him and started laughing. He was probably saying, not easy out here.
It's almost like he's a rookie cornerback, and the offense is picking on him. You know, they're just, there's the weakness. Let's go at it.
Yankees have turned infielders into outfielders before. Remember, they did it with Alfonso Soriano. That's right. Betamit, you saw his walk-off home run in yesterday's game. Complete a 5-1 homestand for the O's.
It was Betamit's first career walk-off homer. Grant Balfour had come in out of the bullpen. Former Yankee Bartolo Colon went into the bottom of the ninth inning with a shutout going. And they gave it all back and then some.
Right back up the middle. Jeter will step on second, fire to first, and they turn the double play. 6-6-3. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left. Orioles 1, Yankees nothing. Teixeira will lead off in the bottom of the inning. Toyota text poll, and tonight's question is, which of these teams currently tied atop their division has the best chance of finishing there? You can text your vote to 42951. Standard text messaging rates apply. Is it Atlanta, Baltimore, Tampa Bay, Washington?
I picked Washington to be a surprise team this year.
They just called up Bryce Harper. 2 games, 2 for 6. Teixeira really struggling. He's 2 for his last 25. But here's a stat that really jumps out at you. He has not walked in his last 52 plate appearances. Here's a base hit right down the right field line. It kicks off the stands. Markakis will get the ball in quickly, so Mark Teixeira snaps an 0 for 11 slide with that base hit.
Solid shot over the bag, and the first base umpire is Bob Davidson, who makes the call and gets out of the way at the same time. Ball caroms off to Nick Markakis, who has a very strong arm, a Gold Glove right fielder. And Mark Teixeira makes the right call by holding it first. Buck Showalter talking to Bob Davidson about whether it's fair or foul. I bet you Teixeira ends up at first base, though.
Showalter has a good line of sight where he stands in the Oriole dugout. He thought it was foul. Let's see. What do you think?
Let's see if it catches the corner. Well, it's hard to tell, but it has to go over the corner of the bag there, and that's, I guess, what Bob Davidson called. And he's right there. Well, Buck is headed back to the dugout. He had his say, and he's still around. He's got his team off to a good start.
Here's Ibanez. And a strike.
Now, Hamill had been a starting pitcher with the Rockies, but last year around August he was banished to the bullpen, and he wasn't very happy about it. But when he got down to the bullpen coach was Jim Wright. And Jim Wright and he just discussed pitching just about on an everyday basis. And one thing that Wright said, you got to adjust your way of thinking. And don't focus on anything else but the glove when you're about ready to pitch. There's no hitter there. There's no umpire. Just look at the glove, the sign, and then the glove. And try and execute your pitch. So over the winter in February, Hamill and Lindstrom get traded to Baltimore for Jeremy Guthrie, as we said. And he's continued that way of thinking into a 3-0 start and a 1.73 ERA.
That one is wrapped into right field. Markakis there. He'll make the catch. Teixeira heads back. Ibanez hit it well.
Orioles have gotten some pleasant pitching from Hamill, Tommy Hunter, Jake Arrieta's pitched pretty well. Their bullpen's been outstanding.
That one is driven deep to right field off the bat of Chavez. See ya! 2-run home run for Eric Chavez, and the Yankees lead 2-1.
Thing you have noticed in this inning, every ball has been hit hard. This one is centered. I love it. I kind of remember those days. You hit a ball like that, he knew where it was going, and he knew the Yankees had the lead.
There's Russell Martin. Let's take a look at the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast.
Woo. That had the sound and certainly has the distance.
Martin takes outside.
So Teixeira with a shot over the bag. Ibanez lines out the right, and Chavez into the Yankee bullpen.
Seen a lot of action as they DH A-Rod more and more. Chavez so good defensively.
kind of turning back the clock. These are like his days in Oakland when he was an everyday third baseman.
Foul back here. Rounded to short. J.J. Hardy for the second out. And that's going to bring up Eduardo Nunez. Three putouts in left field so far for Nunez. We're in the second inning. First career start out there. Shows bunt, takes outside.
Saw Nunez when he stepped in the box. He took a little glance down at third base to see where Bedamit was playing, and he's beyond the bag. Then he flashed a bunt, and didn't. Pitch was outside.
Bunts it foul.
Bedamit didn't believe him. He didn't come in. The thing about it, you say, why would you bunt with 2 outs? Well, the thing about Nunez, if he bunts and beats it out, he can move himself into scoring position with a stolen base. He stole over 20 bases last year. He's 3-0 this year. So a bunt single might be as good as a double. Well, he's still thinking about it.
Now I better stop thinking about it. He has 2 strikes.
And a very valuable player for the Yankees, able to give half-day offs to Jeter, Cano, A-Rod, and now getting some time in the outfield with some injuries to the Yankee outfielders. And plus, it's that you're not losing that much offensively. He's hitting .345. And I thought Michael in spring training would get a hit in the first game of spring training in the hand and didn't play for about 2 weeks. That he would get off to a slow start swinging the bat. That was not the case. He hit well in spring training and now has hit well at the beginning of the season. As today we close out the month of April.
Missed outside count, now full. Yankees lead this one 2-1. 2-run home run by Eric Chavez earlier this inning. Payoff. Sounds like a broken bat, fly ball. And Adam Jones is there, and that'll do it. But the Yankees take the lead. First a single by Mark Teixeira. Then Eric Chavez crushes one into the Yankee bullpen in right center. When it lands, Yankees lead 2-1. Network.com's new Game Connect, our new social networking app that lets Yankees fans interact with each other on the broadcast booth while watching the game. See what other fans are tweeting about and get up-to-the-minute scores and in-depth pitch-by-pitch stats, all at YesNetwork.com. Mark Reynolds takes a pitch outside, so now Kuroda has the lead after the Chavez home run. Reynolds struggling, 3 hits in his last 27 at bats.
Yeah, he's had some problems this year. Started out as the everyday third baseman. Buck Showalter moved him first a little bit. Now he's been DHing. Defensive problems, but primarily you can see 150. He's never had a month of April where he hasn't hit a home run. But this could be the year that it goes down with 0 home runs in the month of April. And plus, he's had 60 at bats. He struck out 28 times.
Line drive caught by Teixeira, taking a hit away from Reynolds. When you're struggling, you're struggling.
If you're Reynolds, if it wasn't for bad luck, you wouldn't have any luck at all on this one. Line drive, stays with it. Teixeira flags it down for the first out here in the top of the 3rd inning. Been struggling making contact. He finally makes solid contact and goes directly at one of the fielders.
Line drive left field, another try for Nunez, and he made that one a little bit more difficult, but still made the play.
I tell you what, he's caught him on all kinds of different angles out there in left field. Look at Tony Pena. He almost overruns it, stays with it, dismounts, and makes the play. He caught this one like he was falling off a horse. Eduardo Nunez. Half glove will travel. Nice play. There is the Brett Gardner, probably the best defensive left fielder in the league. Here's our Home Depot hitter scouting report on Nolan Ramo. Michael told you he's got a 14-game hitting streak. He was hitless on opening days. He's had a hit in every other game he's played in since then. And late inning power. He's got 4 home runs from the 7th inning on. That's the most of anybody in the major leagues. And all 5 of his home runs are on the road. He hasn't homered in Baltimore this year.
Could not hold up. It's 480 on the road, 237 at home. And he swings and misses, and that'll do it. 1-2-3 inning for Hiroki Kuroda. Eduardo Nunez has made 4 putouts in left field. Some pretty good, some very good. Some look tougher than they really were. Not really, though. It all works. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by J&R Music and Computer World and by Acura. Acura Advance. Two-1, Yankees lead. Bottom of the third inning. Top of the Yankee order. Derek Jeter will start it off against Jason Hamill. Jeter grounded to second in the first inning. And a strike, clipping the outside corner.
Look at that on-base percentage for Derek. .436. He's been getting on base 44% of the time.
Leads the major leagues with 36 hits this month. And leads the American League with a .391 average.
That is creating opportunities for the players hitting behind you in the order.
One and two. And the pitch. Ties him up inside.
Yeah.
Hamill's got a live arm.
Yeah, he does. Good movement on that fastball. Ran in on Derek's hands. That's a heavy sinker.
Slow roller, fielded by Hamill. Takes his time and gets Jeter. Didn't rush it, and that was the key.
After that fastball was inside, moved Derek back a bit. He came back with a good slider to the outside corner. Derek barely got some wood on it. And now the race is on. Here's the way Michael called it. Took his time, made an accurate throw to Davis at first.
Showing bunt, taking low.
I saw that very same play yesterday. Probably cost the Oakland A's the ball game in the ninth inning. Adam Jones hit a slow roller, maybe a little bit further out towards the third baseline, but Bartolo Colon threw it away, and he had more time than he thought he had, and that eventually led to a 5-run bottom of the ninth inning.
The 2-0. Foul back. Two-1 Yankees lead. 2-run home run by Eric Chavez in the second. Strike, 2-2. Granderson has reached base safely in each of his last 20 games. Longest streak for any American League player. He gets on. Third base umpire Dan Bellino said he checked the swing. This will be the 50th pitch for Howell.
Now, one thing Granderson did last year, kept his at-bats going. Fouled off more two-strike pitches than any hitter in the league. That didn't always work out because Granderson's a high strikeout guy, but he makes pitchers work that much harder.
Like that. And that'll bring up Alex Rodriguez. Alex walked in the first inning. Pitch inside.
Now, you saw Alex's overall average at 253. It's kind of deceiving You would say that's kind of a middling average, and one reason it is, he's hit very well here at Yankee Stadium. He's over 360 at Yankee Stadium, but not quite as good on the road, not nearly as good on the road. You would expect that would even out as the season goes along. Hitting only 163 on the road.
High pop-up. Shallow right. Andino out. Called off by Markakis for the second out.
Although that looked like a harmless fly ball to right field. Alex wasn't very far off of that. We've seen him hit a couple of home runs towards right field here at the stadium. He's a little late, and that's the reason why he didn't drive this ball. Just a hair late, maybe got underneath it. But that's a swing that we've seen. Yeah, he kind of knows it. He kind of just missed that one. You know, we have a tendency to watch hitters another out, but it's the way they make the outs that kind of give you an indication of how far away they are from their next hit.
There's a strike on the inside corner. That one misses outside. Two-1 Yankees lead, bottom of the third. Beginning of a 3-game set. Then the Yankees head to Kansas City after Wednesday night's game for a 4-game road trip with the Royals. And back home to meet the Tampa Bay Rays.
So, Michael, I was coming up on the train this morning. Several people asked me about you.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know how Michael Cage doing it. Say hello to Michael. Nice people on that Acela.
I like that trip.
Yeah, it's great.
The 2-1. Driven out to left center. Right there is Reimold, and that'll do it. No runs, no hits, no errors, one man left. Joining us in the booth in the 4th inning will be our colleague, Jack Curry. Stick around. Smokers Quit Line Quiz. Last season, Curtis Granderson became the second player in Major League Baseball history to have 40 more home runs, 10 or more triples, and 20 more stolen bases in a single season. And who was the other? We'll find that out in the bottom of the fourth. J.J. Hardy will lead off against Hiroki Kuroda. Pitches outside. Jack Curry joins us in the booth. Jack, let's start off with Andy Pettitte. Lincoln scoreboard 2-1. Yankees lead the O's. Andy Pettitte's numbers today, extended spring, don't jump off the page in a positive way, but what's the word?
Right, you look at the numbers and you say those are not great numbers, but I think what the Yankees were encouraged about, Michael, is he threw almost 100 pitches. He did allow 5 runs in 5 2/3 innings, but he struck out 8. He didn't walk anyone. People who were at the game talked about the 3-run homer that he gave up, and Andy spoke about this, was on a 3-2 changeup. He says in the major leagues he's not throwing a 3-2 changeups, but he wanted to throw it in that situation, so they kind of almost talked about erasing that off the board.
It's kind of like spring training. You have some good days and you have some not so good days in spring training.
Right, and talking to Brian Cashman, and I even think Joe Girardi says this too, the numbers they're concerned about are the pitch count, also his velocity. He got his fastball up to the high 80s, and then also just how he feels. And in terms of how he feels, I actually texted with him in the last 20 or 25 minutes, and he said that he feels very good. He thinks that he could actually come to the major leagues and help the Yankees right now. But he said, listen, I know they're leaning towards another minor league start. I'm just itching to get back. I will do what they think is best. So what do the Yankees think is best? Brian Cashman has already said he'd like Andy to make at least one more minor league start. But, guys, I found this interesting. Andy Pettitte showing you who he is and how professional he is.
Nick Markakis pops it up. Teixeira is there. 2 outs.
He followed up with another text to me, guys, and said, listen, please make it clear. I'm not trying to be controversial here. I'm not trying to defy the Yankees. I just want to get there and help them as quickly as I can. I'll do whatever they want. He'd love for it to be in Kansas City, and we see those numbers today. Doesn't look like it's going to be in Kansas City. Cashman has preached patience. Guys from Kenny, you remember from the day we talked about this in Florida, the day the story broke, they're going to be patient with Andy Pettitte.
I think that's part of Andy's competitive nature, speaking, that he wants to get back to the big leagues and compete.
There's a strike to Adam Jones, so they're not leaning toward having him have another start. He's having another start in the minors.
He's definitely having another start in the minor leagues. Brian Cashman thought that after his start in Trenton that he was about a quarter to a half of the way through spring training, and he said, listen, he is not going to, in one start that Cashman didn't see today, but he said he's not going to correct everything that I thought needed correcting in Trenton. I think Kenny's right. I think Andy Pettitte sees a need. He sees that the starting rotation is struggling and there's an itch for him to get back and help. But the Yankees want him, guys, and you know this, once he comes back, be here to stay, be injury free, no issues, know that he can go out there and throw 100 pitches every time.
2-1 count on Adam Jones. There's a strike. Now, do you believe David Phelps is in the rotation if he continues to perform well? Or is he the guy who leaves when Andy comes up?
I think that David Phelps has a golden opportunity in Kansas City, Michael. Phil Hughes is sitting there with an 8 ERA. He has another start in this series. But Phelps gets the opportunity not only to make his first major league start, but to show the Yankees that there's a chance he could be a better option. If he goes out there and stifles the Kansas City Royals for 5 or 6 innings, if you're the Yankees, how do you not think that he's in the mix for another possible start?
Slow roller, third base line. That's going to be a base hit unless it kicks. No, it will not kick. So Adam Jones picks up an infield single.
It gives Jones a 9-game hitting streak. And 20 out of 22. He's having a very good year.
What do they do with Freddie Garcia in the bullpen? I mean, how does he become a better pitcher in the bullpen?
I think you look for an opportunity to use him in a game. I think he goes into Larry Rothschild's laboratory. But I think as far as Freddie Garcia goes, based on what he did, guys, 12.5 ERA, batting averaged against of over 400. It's the waiting game for him right now. He's not a top priority in the Yankee universe right now.
There's Matt Wieters. Throw over and Jones dives back. So let's do the math. Andy pitches today. That means that he pitches again, what, Saturday?
Monday. Usually Monday's pitcher pitches Saturday.
All right. So what would he do if he gets called up after that? Would it be the final game of the Tampa Bay series?
I think you have some days to work with him. Say they wanted to give him an extra day. I think you could look at him anywhere around that May 10th or May 11th period. And Michael, you brought up Phelps earlier. With the off day on the 7th, you really only need to fill that Garcia spot one time before Pettit would presumably be ready. So the Yankees can use that off day to their advantage and not really have to go to Phelps again. But depending on how he pitches, maybe Phelps does squeeze his way into another start.
And also put some pressure on Phil Hughes to be better than what he's been. It's weird because Phil Hughes, and I don't know if you saw this, Kenny, but he said that he was looking at tape with Larry Rothschild, and he's going to go back to what he did in the bullpen. And I'm thinking to myself, it took a year and a month to come up with. I mean, he was great in the bullpen. Why wouldn't you have done that from the start?
Was he looking at tape from his bullpen days?
Yeah,
or
2009.
Oh, okay.
He said he's just going to let it fly. Puts the Weeders, runner goes, throw to second. Got him. Good tag by Jeter. As Jones is out trying to steal. No runs a hit, no errors, and because of this, nobody left on base. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Mark Teixeira is going to lead off. Jack's going to stay with us as Adam Jones is tagged on the hip to end the inning.
I feel pretty good, you know. Game plan next 3 days, just kind of chill. You know, me and Stevie get a chance to know each other a little better, and then get back after it. Hopefully, first game of Kansas City.
Nick Swisher talking about his injury. The guy he's talking about, Stevie, is Stevie Donahue, the Yankee trainer. Is that Nick Swisher talking, or is that what the Yankees feel first game in KC?
Michael, that's Nick Swisher's timetable. That would mean he'd have 3 days off. Joe Girardi about an hour before that, as we see the Yankees have that 2-1 lead. Joe Girardi said it'd be a week. Said, listen, I want to give this guy a week. I don't want him to do anything for a few days. I give him a week. They also get the benefit of the extra off day on Monday, and you'd have him for that first game of the series against Tampa Bay. Swisher said he could lobby and try and convince Girardi, but guys, you know the way the Yankees are with injuries, and with a hamstring, I think you have to be cautious. I don't think the Yankees are going to push to get him back in a few days.
Having never had a hamstring injury, but I've heard they're tricky. I never had one because I didn't run fast enough to get a hamstring pull. But they can be tricky. And just when you think you are healed and you run it down to first base, it's acceleration, and it blows out again.
Swing and a miss as Teixeira goes down on strikes. It's interesting that they choose to not have an outfielder for a week rather than lose him for the week that they think they could get him on the back end, because they could put him on the 15-day deal and know for sure they'd get him back, but they'd rather have him for those the back end than lose him for the front end.
Right, he's been such a valuable offensive player, Michael. I guess that has something to do with it. Also, they believe Gardner, who is eligible to come back on Thursday, they believe he's going to come back. Girardi said that's not cemented yet. So they're kind of treading water here for 3 games with a lean bench. I know you guys have already talked about it. Their bench tonight is Stewart and Andrew Jones. And they are rolling the dice a little bit. We've seen already in the outfield tonight when you look at Nunez and Ibanez out there. Could they have called up a defensive player and somebody who could play the outfield? Absolutely. Brian Cashman mentioned that, but it's not the route they're going. And Kenny, you mentioned about how hamstrings are tricky. Swisher had a hamstring injury in this same leg in 2007. He said that one was far worse and cost him about 10 games. So that's why he doesn't think this one is as serious.
You know, you mentioned Nunez in left field. What's the deal with that? What did he say about it?
Michael, it was interesting talking to Nunez before the game. He was elated about this. He said fly balls, they're no big deal. He said a hard hit grounder, that's hard. But then, of course, he also said the line drive right at you is tough.
Ground ball to Davis. He'll flip to Hamill, 2 away.
And, of course, what happens the first play of the game, he does get that line drive hit right at him. But I think that there is something interesting about Nunez going to the outfield, because when you look at the way the Yankees are constructed, Alex Rodriguez has a long-term deal. Derek Jeter is going to be here this year and 2 more years. The presumption is that they'll sign Robinson Cano. He was asked, could you see yourself moving to the outfield and being a full-time player? And he said, yes. I want to stay in the major leagues and I want to play as often as I can. If they presented me with that opportunity, it's something I would be interested in doing. And guys, Nick Swisher is a free agent after this year. You start trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. Nunez is an athletic enough guy, I think, to succeed at it.
He's got the speed. We know that, to cover the ground. Whether it's left field or right field, particularly in left field here at Yankee Stadium. I think that's where Gardner is so invaluable to the Yankees.
How much did he play in the outfield in the minors?
Very little. Very little. In fact, he played, 1 game in spring training. Tonight, this is his first career start in left field. It's not just his first start this year. Coming into tonight, he had played a total of 5 games in left field, 5 games in the outfield overall. But he thinks if he takes enough fly balls, if he works at it, you guys mentioned it earlier, the bench is going to have to help him. They're going to have to position him. This isn't going to be something that happens overnight. But as I said, he was almost giddy talking about it before the game.
There's a lot more to playing the outfield. You just don't catch the ball and throw it back. I mean, you got to know where to throw it. You got to know the base runners. You got to know how deep to play in certain situations. You move up in certain situations late in the game when there's a tying run at second base or to go ahead at second base. Just all kinds of things, little subtle things, subtleties to playing the outfield as opposed to just catching a fly ball that comes out to you.
And the way he struggled in the infield, he's probably happier he's farther away from the action, gives him more time to react, because he has had some trouble at third and at short. He's even made an error at second.
He has. It's been a struggle for him. You like his versatility, but when you put a guy at different positions, you want to believe that it's not going to hurt you. And talking about different positions, he actually has 5 gloves in his locker right now.
Grounded to third. Betamit is there. He will get Chavez for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. So Hamill and Hiroki Kuroda pitching well as we go to the 5th. Matt Wieters will lead it off. And we were there, Kenny. Yu Darvish can pitch, and I think a lot of the Yankees were impressed. And the one pitch that really caught their eye was the 97-mile-an-hour fastball he threw to Jeter.
And it wasn't even a strike. I mean, it was just, I think he was trying to be impressive, reached back for a little extra, and overthrew it a bit. But it's there.
We go to the 5th inning. Matt Wieters will lead off. Yankees lead 2-1 alongside Ken Singleton and Jack Curry. I'm Michael Cape. Watching Yankees baseball right here on Yes. Beginning of a 3-game set, and the Orioles come in at 14-8. A little bit of a surprise in the American League East. Looks like the standings are kind of reversed. Everybody expects the Orioles to be on the bottom, and I know you spoke to Buck Showalter. What was his take, Jack?
Well, Michael, I walked into Buck Showalter's office at about 3 o'clock, and not surprisingly, he asked me to hold on for 1 second because he was checking something going on with their AAA team, Norfolk Score. He was looking online and said, hold on, I'll be right with you. So he's looking at the minor leagues because that's part of what the Orioles have to do now. But he is keeping or trying to keep the excitement level down. He understands that the Orioles are off to a strong start, but he also understands that this division is very strong. He looks at the Yankees, he sees the Rays, he sees the Red Sox, these teams, even the Blue Jays. He understands that there's a reason why everyone picked the Orioles to finish in last place. But that being said, and Kenny mentioned the stat earlier, 6 over for the first time since 2005. He said, listen, I'm not going to run away from that. I want our guys to embrace that. I want them to believe that they can beat these teams. But he's also honest about the gap in talent that I think exists between the Orioles and some of the other teams in the division.
2-1 to Wieters. He skies one to left field. Another one for Nunez for the first out. What is realistic for the Orioles?
I think if the Orioles finished 500, I think that would be a great season for them. I look at what Hamill has given them. I think Arrieta is a guy that is coming on. They hope that Mattis figures himself out. Britton is a guy who is injured, but he is talking about a kid today who's only at single A, but a kid named Dylan Bundy that they drafted.
Number 1.
Coming into tonight, Kenny, he had not allowed a hit to the first 40 batters he faced in professional baseball. Nice. He had walked 1 and retired 39. Now, he gave up a hit tonight, but still, Buck was talking about this kid like, keep your eye on this guy. He is going to be someone who's going to contribute for us and contribute quicker than people think.
I think the guy that got the hit, they sent him immediately to the big leagues. No, Bundy is only 19 years old. I think he's a young man from Texas. He's with their #1 draft pick last year. And they asked Jim Palmer, what did he do? Jim Palmer said, I think he'll be in the big leagues by September. They said, well, Jim, he's only 19. And Jim's retort was, I was in the big leagues when I was 19.
Well, Kenny, is there some pressure on the Orioles now because the Nationals are doing so well?
I don't think so. I think they feel like they're a separate entity. I mean, you're right. They're only 40 miles apart. They're both on the same network. The Nationals, well, it seems to me the Nationals have really developed their minor leagues. They've got some players coming up who can help. They've signed some free agents to help themselves out. They got Steven Strasburg. Maybe Bundy will be the Orioles' Steven Strasburg in the not too distant future.
The 0-1 to Davis.
But it's all tempered by the fact that the fan base in Baltimore, remember, they've had 14 straight losing seasons, second only to the Pittsburgh Pirates. And the fans said, we've seen this before. They've gotten off to decent starts only to fall apart. So it's sort of like a wait-and-see attitude in Baltimore.
It's interesting, Jack, if you look at all the other stops in Buck Showalter's managerial tenure, the second year he starts to turn things around.
Well, I think they have a better team. I think there's more maneuverability. They have a better bench. I think their pitchers are starting to come on, which you definitely have to pitch if you're going to win.
Line drive, caught by Jeter. 2 outs.
Well, Derek Jeter proving that you got to get up to get down. Good play by Derek. But we've seen a couple line drive outs tonight. Derek's hauled in one. Teixeira's hauled in one. A little further out, Nunez has hauled in one.
There's Betamete. Pitch outside.
Kenny, those long-suffering Orioles fans that you spoke about, Buck mentioned that in the interview I did with him for our batting practice show. He talked about how, listen, we've got to give these people reason to come back. We've got to give these people reason to believe. And this record, which isn't even 15% of the season schedule so far, is not enough. He understands that, and he said to me, "Do you remember what Camden Yards used to be like?" I mean, he remembers what it was like to go in as an opponent and have to deal with those crowds there. And it's not there yet. They're trying to get it there. But, of course, it's all about pitching. The versatility and the flexibility that they're trying to develop is great, but they need their pitchers to produce.
Ground ball and through for a base hit for Bettamy. 14 straight years of losing for the Orioles. 19 the Pirates lead, then 14 for the O's. Royals 8 straight. And that's a list you don't want to be on. And right now it looks like all three, well, the Orioles are trying to change it, but the other two have not gotten off to good starts.
Of those three, I thought the Royals had the best chance because they had the best minor league system, but they have gotten off to a slow start. I don't think if they've won a game at home this year, it's only 1 or 2. No, they haven't. They're 0-10 at home, 6-5 on the road.
Yeah, that was everybody's chic pick. The surprise team, but you know, their catcher got hurt, their closer got hurt.
You're looking at me when you say that, right?
No, did you pick them? I didn't know.
I said they would have their surprise team, but I also said the Nationals would be a surprise team in the National League.
He's telling the truth, Michael. I remember in spring training he was 1 for 2. Kenny was high on the Royals, but he was even higher on the Nationals. So 50% isn't bad because a lot of people were thinking that the Royals would finally turn it around. I just didn't like Bruce Chen as your #1 starter. That's not getting it done for me.
He's no Steven Strasburg, right?
Also, you made that pick before they lost Soria.
Yeah, but you have to have starting pitching too. I just thought they're everyday players like Alex Gordon and Moustakas and Hosmer. I thought that these guys could bust out and score them a lot of runs.
1-2.
But stuff happens. You know, it's a long year.
And there are teams right now that you know are going to be good. The Tigers came in here and struggled. They didn't look great at all. But that division is going to give them a little breathing room because I don't know if there's anybody good enough to challenge them.
They also started off 12-17 last year, so I'm not really worried about the Tigers. I don't know that Verlander, as great as he is, I don't know that he can reel off the same kind of season he did last year, but I'm with you. I'd be shocked if the Tigers don't win that division.
I mean, who would be your second place team?
Chicago White Sox, right as of now.
Right now.
Robin Ventura, manager of the year. If they keep it going.
One-two, swing and a miss, and that'll do it. We'll hear from Jack on the post-game show. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We're halfway through. Martin, Nunez, and Jeter coming up for the Yankees in the bottom of the 5th. of the 5th inning, and Russell Martin will lead off. Fouled away. Martin's hitting 173 with 2 homers and 6 ribbies. After 18 games last year, 311, 6 homers and 16 ribbies. So he's really off to a slow start.
I thought after some of the swings he had at the series in Boston, he hit a home run at Fenway Park. I thought he was starting to get it together, but then went backwards a bit. I think we should mention, Michael, that if you look at the Central Division standings, the Cleveland Indians are in first place.
Yep. And if you remember last year, they started off very well, and then they collapsed toward the end. And as Jack said, the Tigers started off poorly. Tigers just have so much hitting. But there's some holes on that team. Strike 3, Martin down looking. These are the Central standings right now. The Indians are surprised. The White Sox, everybody picked them really for last or next to last. Tigers and the Royals and the Twins. Also, the West is a little bit of a surprise with the Angels struggling, and with the last day of April, and Albert Pujols does not have a home run. I talked to Alex Rodriguez about that today, and he said people don't realize because of interleague play, but the switch full-time to another league is really, really tough. He said because you've got to learn pitchers' patterns, what they do in certain situations. He said interleague play doesn't allow you to do that. You see them once. He said you got to really get to know a pitcher and know a ballpark and feel comfortable. He said I believe when Albert does hit a home run, they'll come in bunches. And you see the Angels in last place with that pitching, but they can't score. They've released Bobby Abreu, and they call it Mike Trout, but 7-15. But Alex says I still believe in Pujols, and once he hits one, I think he'll hit 5 real quick. Nunez, one hopper, and a nice play by Andino for the second out. Let's see the answer to the New York State Smokers Quit Line quiz. It's a tough question, so we gave you a little extra time to come up with the answer. Curtis Granderson became the 2nd player in baseball history to have 40 more home runs, 10 or more triples, and 20 more stolen bases in a single season. And who was the other?
It's either 1 or 2 people. That was my first guess.
Who was the other guess?
Barry Bonds.
Okay.
Well, Willie Mays, he can literally do it all.
Pretty nice company to be in for Curtis.
That was 1955. That was the year after the Giants won the World Series as the New York Giants. And 2 years or 3 years before they moved to the West Coast, became the San Francisco Giants.
Here's Derek. 1-0. Good breaking ball as Jeter waves through it.
Jeter tapped out on that breaking ball his last time up. Look out. See, that pitch is designed to keep you from going after that slider on the outside corner. This is going to run up and in. We've seen several of these from Hamlin tonight. A couple of A-Rod. Just misses the right elbow. Next pitch should be down and away.
Base hit. First hit for Jeter.
37 hits in April. I think I mentioned in the last game, Michael, when you get 30 hits in a month, you're usually going to hit around 300 that month. Depending on the number of walks, you can mix in. This might have been ball 4, but Jeter somehow gets the barrel of the bat to it and strokes it through the right side for a base hit. Who's next on the all-time list? Tony Gwynn?
Tony Gwynn.
Yeah. Tony, he's coming.
Cal Ripken thinks that Pete Rose should look out. Ripken was quoted as saying that he felt that Jeter had a chance to get 4,000 hits.
That's awful. That's a lot of hits. But only 2 players have done it. Pete Rose and Ty Cobb.
Yep. There's the quote, when it's all said and done, he'll be pushing close to 4,000 hits. I don't know if he'll get to Pete's record, 4256, but he's sure going to be passing a lot of people.
Well, Pete played till he was 45 years old. And
Eric's 37.
And even then, I bet you didn't want to quit.
Orioles scored in the second inning on a sac fly by Chris Davis. Yankees scored in the bottom of the second, a 2-run home run by Chavez. And that's it, bottom of the 5th. Two and two.
Sort of off-speed pitch, had Granderson out in front. It was kind of in his wheelhouse, and he was ready to unload. 89 pitches. Coming up on number 90.
And he swings and misses, and that will do it in the 5th. No runs a hit, no errors. 1 man left. We go to the 6th inning. Robert Andino will lead it off against Kuroda. Tomorrow's starting pitcher is brought to you by Verizon Fios. Welcome to America's fastest, most consistent, most reliable internet. Welcome to life on Fios. Brian Mattis will go for the Orioles. 0-3, 5.66. They're waiting for him to come around. Phil Hughes, Yankees are waiting on him as well. 1-3, 7.88. It all begins on, yes, at 6 o'clock with the BP show. 6:30 is the pregame. I'd say 7:07, 7:08 is going to be first pitch. 2-1 Yankees lead as we go to the 6th inning. Pitcher's duel between Hamill and Kuroda. Andino will lead it off. That one is driven deep to center field. On the run is Granderson, and he'll make the play. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Yeah, plenty of airtime to get back underneath that one. As Andino used a lot of center field with that fly ball out. Andino's a pretty good bunter. You can see Eric Chavez in on the grass, but he wasn't butting on this one. Granderson tracks it down for out number 1. Quick out for Roki Kuroda. A loud out, if you will.
Here's Reimold. And a strike. And the 0-1.
Kuroda's got a pretty good rhythm going. He and Russell Martin tonight. You saw that yesterday with CC Sabathia. He and Chris Stewart really were wheeling and dealing. CC had an outstanding breaking ball yesterday.
That one is driven deep to left field. Fair, it's gone. Foul ball.
That was a hanging breaking ball, and Kuroda got away with it. That is Kenji Nomura. That is Kuroda's translator. Very interesting young man. I had a chance to talk with him in Texas. Actually served as a translator for sumo wrestlers.
2-2. Got a piece to stay alive.
And he had served in the same role with the Dodgers and with Kuroda, and has come over to the Yankees. I guess it has to be a very trusting relationship. Yeah. I notice sometimes you have to translate some of the things I say.
Then we're in trouble. The 2-2. One hopper to Jeter. 2 outs. Follow the Yankees with the MLB.com @Bat12 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at BAT to 31826 or visit Yankees.com for details. Here's J.J. Hardy. 4 hits in his last 24 at-bats. There's a strike. Good pitch total for Kuroda. 70 pitches with 2 outs here in the 6th. One and one. Right back to Kuroda. And he works a nice, easy 1-2-3 inning, retiring the Orioles in order. A-Rod's going to lead off against Jason Hamill. Stick around for that. Yankees up by 1. Time for another look at tonight's Toyota Text Poll. Again, the question, which of these teams currently tied atop their division has the best chance of finishing there? You've been texting us at 42951. Here's how you voted. 39% think it's Washington, and then 33% Tampa Bay. That's a strong showing for Tampa Bay because you realize mostly Yankee fans are voting.
Yeah, but a lot of those people out there must have heard me in that spring training game when I picked the Nationals to have a good year.
Count 1-1 to A-Rod. Alex has walked, and he's flied out to right.
Now, was it yesterday that Alex passed Willie Mays on the all-time RBI list? Next up is my former teammate Eddie Murray. We've had Eddie in the booth.
The 2-1. Strike on the outside corner, 2-2. Both pitchers putting on a show tonight. Working quickly, throwing strikes.
First pitch strikes. More often than not.
Swing and a miss. Good breaking ball. A-Rod down on strikes.
He took something off of that one. We've seen the good hard slider. This is more of a curveball and only 70-something miles an hour. You see a more downward break instead of side to side. And I don't think he's thrown this one to Alex all night long. He finally breaks it out with 2 strikes on him and picks up his 5th strikeout with this good breaking ball.
Here's Cano. Right up the middle and a base hit. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees.
Cano's last 3 hits have gone to center field, and I always felt the way you start a hot streak is hitting right back through the middle, get your stroke going, and then you start to move the ball around the field according to where the pitch is thrown.
Three infielders on the right side. Nobody shifts like Joe Madden of the Rays, but this is a pretty significant shift. Only Betemit is on the left side. Old school guy like Jim Leland, he did not shift this much. His shortstop was actually on the shortstop side of the bag for Teixeira.
I think a lot of it has to do with your pitchers as well. They have to make the pitches that will make the shift effective. If they don't, all of a sudden you've got hitters hitting the ball the other way and getting base hits. I think the first shift they ever heard of was the shift they used to put on Ted Williams, and it was done by Cleveland manager Lou Budrow, who was the player manager, and didn't keep Ted Williams from hitting 400.
And he would not go the other way.
No, he would. A lot of times he went over the shift. Over 500 times he went over it.
And then we saw a big-time home run hitter this weekend, like Prince Fielder, and you couldn't shift against him because he takes the ball to left field a lot.
He's a
good hitter.
He hits close to 300 every year.
2-2 to Mark. This will be the 100th pitch for Hammond.
And not only are he and Cabrera power threats, they are good hitters as well. They have good 2-strike approaches.
High fly ball right center field, and is going to dunk in there for a base hit. Cano is going for third. Here's the throw, not handled by Betemit. So a base hit for Teixeira.
Cano took a chance, and the throw actually beat him. Betemit could not handle it. And if you're going to take a chance, it might as well be with one out and you have the lead. Kind of a broken bat looper into right center field. Adam Jones had more assists than any center fielder in baseball last year, and he gets off a good throw here. But Bettamy cannot handle the second hop, and Cano is in there. The throw's actually going to beat him. You can see it past Cano right there, but Bettamy cannot handle it. And Cano took the chance, and it pays off. He's at third with one out.
Yeah, he's looking for a little breathing room for Kuroda. And this could be an inning-ending double play. There's one. And there's two. So Hamill got just what he needed. And the Yankees strand a runner. No runs, 2 hits, and 1 man left. Let's go to the 7th. 3, 4, and 5. Markakis, Jones, and Wieters coming up. Well, we go to the 7th. Time of the game summary brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. It's 2-5-0 Yanks, 1-3-0 for the O's. Hamill's pitched good baseball, so is Kuroda. And the difference in the game is Chavez's 2-run home run. So a tight one as we go to the 7th. Orioles are actually 12-1 this year when their starter completes 6 innings. And that's what Hamill has done. But he's matching up against a pitcher who's pitching even better. You see Soriano and Logan getting ready in the bullpen.
This is the 3rd time through the order for Kuroda.
Cadillac scoreboard. It's 2-1 Yanks. One 1-0 to Markakis. He's flied out to left. Actually, very nice play by Nunez, and then popped up to share it first. Strike.
Good movement on that fastball. Looked like it might be inside, then darted back for the plate.
75 pitches, so pitch count is in great shape. 2-1. 2-2.
Once again, that spillover fastball. Starts inside and it spills over the corner.
And the pitch. Base hit up the middle. Granderson will get it in. Leadoff single. for Markakis. Later tonight, don't miss WB Mason presents the Joe Girardi Show as the skipper looks back at the first month of the season, including last week's tough matchups against Texas and the Tigers. Plus, Joe answers your questions, which you've submitted on Twitter. The Joe Girardi Show tonight after the postgame. It's only on Yes. Here's Adam Jones. Jones has walked and scored, then had a slow roller to third base that stayed on the grass and stayed fair. Base hit, but he was caught stealing in the fourth inning. He has a 9-game hitting streak after that single.
And last pitch that Markakis got the hit on it. Kuroda tried to throw that fastball once again. It spilled over, but spilled over too much towards the middle of the plate. And Markakis was able to get to it.
That one is driven to center field. Deep, going back, Granderson. Still back. He's on the track. He'll make the play in front of the wall. Tagging is Markakis. Heads up base running as he advances into scoring position. He just assumed that Granderson would either get to the ball or would be out.
But first of all, as an outfielder, he knows this ball is fairly high in the air. It's going to give Granderson time to get back. You see him scamper back to the bag, tag up, and head for second, and get himself into scoring position. Without a throw to second. Jones had to reach for that just enough that he couldn't pull it. He hit it at the straightaway center field almost as Granderson, way out there in deep left center, makes the play.
That brings up Wieters with a chance to tie the game. Wieters gets plunked. So he will take first. Runners on first and second, one out for Chris Davis.
Martin shifts inside and pitches too far in. And it catches Wieters right on the knee, but he doesn't react very much. I guess those catchers are tough. They're used to bumps and bruises.
Well, Hamill got himself a double play to end the sixth. Kuroda looking for that same thing off the bat of Davis. Davis is driven in the only run for the Orioles, a sac fly in the second. That one bounces past Martin, and the runners move up. A wild pitch.
Martin does the best that he could. This one actually hits at the looked like the base of his chest protector, then rolls off to the right. Couldn't keep it in front of him, and that means Markakis will move to third, and Wieters moves down to second.
Soriano and Logan are ready, but Kuroda does have a low pitch count, so they're hanging with him. Infielder's back, so a ground ball to second, short, or first would tie the game. Chavez is about even with the bag at third. Granderson very shallow in center field for Davis. Now Martin wants to talk with Kuroda.
That was a lengthy discussion, as if they were maybe calling more than one pitch. You know, set up a sequence of pitches with a runner on second base.
They got into a little bit of a disagreement in Baltimore, if you remember, about the Orioles possibly tipping pitches. What was that, Andino? That
it was Andino and Russell Martin at the end of the ballgame.
Yep.
Yeah. And now they're having another discussion. And when Russell Martin goes back behind the plate, see if he gives a sign. Maybe he won't even give a sign. It's like it was strictly verbal.
1-2. Big strikeout. They'll get Davis at first. Runners hold up. 2 away.
Davis has been prone to strike out. He's a good low ball hitter, but you can see you go lower than low. Russell Martin wanted him to bounce that pitch. Davis likes the ball down, and he chased that one, and is a strikeout victim. Big strikeout, as Michael called it, for Kuroda. Now there's 2 outs, and a fly ball will not tie the game.
Here's Bettermeat, wrapped into a double play, and then single to left. And again, a verbal sign.
Now you got to remember that this goes back, as Michael said, to the series in Baltimore, and they have a catcher at second base who's used to seeing signs and or giving signs, and knows what they're all about in sequences. So this is a big part of the game. I think Russell Martin recognizes it, and he's going to make sure his pitcher has the best chance of getting out of this jam.
Count 1-0, just missed inside.
These last few pitches, he has not given a sign with his fingers. It's all been verbal. And they probably, now he's going back to because they called the first pitch verbally.
That one gets away from Martin. Here comes the runner. Here's the play at the plate. They got him. They tag out Markakis. A beautiful tag by Kuroda. The Orioles try to score it on what they thought was a wild pitch, but Martin with a good recovery. And he gets it to Kuroda, covering a collision at home plate. And Markakis is out as Kuroda holds on to the ball, and the Yankees hold on to the lead. And there you have it, as Markakis slides in. So it's time for the 7th inning stretch here at the stadium. Yankees up 2-1. And let's now pause for God Bless America.
God bless America. God bless America. Land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the
Thanks a lot, Nancy. As the Orioles try to tie the score in the 7th inning, but a really nice play by Russell Martin, and Hiroki Kuroda makes it on the Cadillac scoreboard 2-1. Yankees over the O's.
Yeah, we got a couple of looks at this one more time, and you can see Kuroda get it in there and applying the tag before Markakis can reach around him. Jerry Lane had a long look at this one, the home plate umpire, to make sure that Kuroda actually hung on to the baseball. He did, and Markakis is out.
Well, Buck Showalter makes a call to the bullpen, brought to you by AT&T. Take one more look at this.
A little danger here. You can see the leg, right leg of Kuroda getting pushed in the other direction by on-sliding Markakis, but he holds on to the ball, which is the important part, and he seemed to be okay when he left the field.
Matt Lindstrom takes over for Hamill, and he goes 2-0 on Chavez.
Lindstrom is the other half of the deal that came to Baltimore in exchange for Jeremy Guthrie. This guy throws hard. The Orioles got another bullpen arm. In essence, they traded one arm for two.
Yep. And Guthrie was a pretty good arm, but never really able to get it all together and realize the potential. He's had some good years. High fly ball left field, long run for Reimold, but he's there. One out. Come out to Yankee Stadium on Wednesday, May 9th for a special giveaway when the Yankees take on the Rays. The first 18,000 guests in attendance are going to receive a Yankees Garden Gnome courtesy of Scott's. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com. Visit the stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. What was that window?
Yeah, that was cool.
Get one for your garden. Russell Martin, who had a good top of the 7th inning, Kenny, the way he maneuvered Hiroki Kuroda, gave the signs verbally, then that play on the potential wild pitch really changed that inning defensively. 0-2.
You know, the key was the backhand flip. It was sort of like a middle infielder. Flip it on the backhand. You see second baseman to the shortstop covering. David Robertson warming up in the Yankee bullpen.
And Martin, while he continues to struggle offensively, has not let it affect him defensively. Kuroda's pitch count still very manageable, but when you've got Robertson and then Rivera out there, do you stay with Kuroda? Kuroda has 86 pitches to this point. Lindstrom deals outside. And a strike, 1-1.
If Kuroda does start the top half of the 8th inning, and with Robertson up and throwing, it'll be hitter by hitter. You know, Joe Girardi wants Robertson ready at the moment's notice.
Center field, Adam Jones on the run, still going back, still back, and he makes the play for the final out of the 7th inning. Nunez gave it a ride, but Jones ran it down. 2-1, Yankees lead the Orioles. We go to the 8th inning. Wilson Betemit will lead off, but it doesn't look like he'll be hitting against Hiroki Kuroda. Well, thanks a lot. So we'll see how that one goes here at the stadium. They do take out Hiroki Kuroda. When you've got a shutdown 8th inning guy like David Robertson, you got to go with him.
It's the 11th appearance of the season and a bunch of zeros up there. Hadn't allowed a run. 15 strikeouts in 10 innings. He's carried on where he left off last year. He's just been unbelievable out of the bullpen. Opponent's hitting just a .194.
Bottom of the order, Bettamy, Reynolds, and Andino on the Hyundai scoreboard. 2-1 Yankees lead. All the scoring in this game took place in the second inning. A sac fly for the Orioles by Chris Davis. A 2-run home run by Chavez for the Yankees. Pitch inside. Count 2 and 0.
So a strong performance by Kuroda to get to this point. Now turning it over to the bullpen.
John Smoltz, who was here with TBS yesterday, was raving about David Robertson.
What did he say? It kind of reminds me of myself. Is that what he said?
No, he actually said that this guy could actually break the inning streak, scoreless inning streak. He said that's how good he is. He goes, and although you don't want Mariano to retire, they have an unbelievable replacement in Robertson. 2-2. Pretty high praise.
Yeah, it is.
From a guy who's likely going to the Hall of Fame. Both teams' bullpens have been the strength of their team. Rangers very good as well. For the Orioles, 1.88. 2-2. It's a broken bat and a foul ball.
Well, the Yankees saw a bit of the Rangers bullpen in Texas. Their whole staff looked pretty good. And
right
remember,
now, and it'll change, Kenny, but right now that looks like the most complete team in baseball as Jim Johnson gets ready. Good pitching, good bullpen, outstanding lineup. Top of the 7th, Yu Darvish holding a 4-1 lead against the Blue Jays. Two. Outside, 3-2. And the payoff. Foul back.
Bettamy has a hit tonight to increase the hitting streak to 6 straight games. Getting a little more playing time. As Mark Reynolds been moved off at third base somewhat.
Swing and a miss. Chased a pitch out of the zone, but not much time to make a decision. Stick around after the final out for the WB Mason postgame. Nancy Newman has a complete wrap-up of tonight's matchup, including highlights from around baseball. Plus, Jack Curry will get the reaction from the clubhouse. We hear from Joe Girardi as well. It's the WB Mason postgame. It's only on Yes.
Here's a swing and a miss by Bettamy. As Michael said, chased the pitch out of the zone.
Mark Reynolds takes a strike. Chavez playing deep at third, close to the line. Clips the outside corner, 0-2.
With Reynolds' propensity to strike out, I think you just have to move the ball around. Don't throw it in the same area. Make him guess where you're trying to go, in or out, up and down, and It's hard. He does not make the adjustments. Robertson throwing a little harder tonight. 94 miles an hour on that last one. It's one of those nights where it's kind of cool and crisp and all just zipping through the air.
1-2. 2-2. Strike 3. Reynolds down looking.
That's about as nasty as you can get. This pitch is right to the glove. Didn't have to move the glove. Call strike 3. Had a little cut to it as well. 30th strikeout of the season for Mark Reynolds in 71 at-bats.
There's Robert Andino. He slot out to left and to center.
Excuse me, I was wrong. 30th strikeout in 63 at-bats.
And a strike. You can't have a guy strike out half of his bats. That's why he's not playing every day anymore. A little close, but he won't be. They won't be giving him 600 at bats.
Well, I mentioned the fact that Buck Showalter has a little more versatility this year with his roster. I mean, last year, you know, Reynolds was hitting some home runs. He was 4th in the league in home runs. That is not happening for him this year. So they didn't have Wilson Betemit last year.
Oh, 2 on Andino. We're in the 8th. 2-1 Yanks. 1-2. Strike 3, and Robertson strikes out the side. First it was Wilson Betemit. That one's swinging. Mark Reynolds looking. Andino looking. Yankees are looking for a 2-1 victory as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Ford, the official truck of the New York Yankees. It's been all about pitching tonight at the stadium. Yankees holding on to a 2-1 lead. Orioles bring in their third pitcher, Jim Johnson. Jason Hamill started 6 strong innings. Matt Lindstrom pitched a 1-2-3 7th. And now the closer, Jim Johnson, comes on. Has yet to allow a run. 7 for 7 in saves.
And 15 in a row going back to last year. Johnson actually pitching tonight. Has not pitched in a few days. He was in the hospital with a severe case of food poisoning. And this is his first appearance since coming out of the hospital. On our Hyundai scoreboard, the Yankees leading 2-1. You're in the bottom of the 8th inning. His only complaint while he was in the hospital, while he was recovering, was that the hospital didn't have the games on cable. And he couldn't watch the Orioles.
Mariano Rivera getting ready to pitch the 9th.
Of course, there's always at bat 12 if you got to have it. Johnson's got good stuff. He's got a heavy sinker, excellent changeup, good slider. In fact, the Orioles were thinking about moving him into the starting rotation at the end of last year, but then they moved Kevin Gregg into a setup role, and Johnson takes over as the closer this year. In fact, that move was made towards the end of last year.
The 2-1. 3-1. Grounded to short. J.J. Hardy. 1 away. So Jeter is 1 for 4 tonight. And that brings up Curtis Granderson. Curtis 0 for 2 with a walk.
Good change up. Good movement on that fastball. Jeez.
Dribbler in front of the plate. Grabbed by Wieters. For the second out. Let's check out how they approach Granderson and do it with the Mazda pitch by pitch.
Yeah, he starts him with a good curveball in the dirt for ball 1. Changeup is down, low ball, trying to stay away from a fastball. Finally has to go to it, but has enough movement for a strike. Same pitch. That was actually the worst pitch of the 4, but Granderson hit on top of it because of the movement. Location, velocity, and movement. 3 ways that pitchers can get hitters out.
Breaking ball to Alex is inside. 1-0. A-Rod 0 for 2 with a walk.
When you have a tendency to mix all those 3 together, you've got a real good pitcher on your hands. And we saw that with Robertson in the top half of the game. Hitting his spots, had the velocity, and had some movement on his fastball. Was cutting a bit.
Grounded to short. J.J. Hardy and Johnson works a 1-2-3 8th inning. Mariano will come on for the Yankees, and he will face the top of the Orioles order: Reimold, Hardy, and Markakis. You know, you could vote along with us for tonight's Chevy Player of the Game. All you have to do is text your vote to 42951 or vote online at yesnetwork.com. Tonight's candidates are number 1, Hiroki Kuroda, number 2, Eric Chavez, number 3, Jason Hamill. Vote now, make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply. Kuroda pitched 7 strong. A 1-2-3, 3 strikeout inning for Robertson in the 8th, and now Rivera in the 9th.
8 strikeouts and 7 in the 3rd. Only a couple of walks. The Yankees have made a defensive change in right field.
Andrew Jones takes over for Ibanez. And interestingly, they keep Nunez in left. Making his first career start in left field. Mo to Raimo. 0-1. The 0-1. Shattered back. And a ground ball to Cano. And he just gets Reimold. And unless the Orioles rally, Reimold's hitting streak will end at 14.
I'll tell you what, he was going down the line like he wanted to beat this one out. First of all, the cutter off the end of the bat. He tried to hold up. Slowly hit towards Cano, who moves over, but Reimold hustling down the line. This guy can run. Good athlete. And thrown out by about a step.
There's J.J. Hardy. One and 0. Hardy's 0 for 3. Two and 0. Popped up. Out of play. Since blowing that opening day save against Tampa Bay, 4 for 4 in saves, has not allowed a run. The 2-1. Line drive, a base hit to right center field. Anderson cuts it off. Hardy will stop at first. So the tying run is on base.
Got this pitch up and out over the plate. Hardy's always been a good high ball hitter. And he gets on top of this one and hits it into right center field for a base hit.
Get a pinch runner now. Looks like Andy Chavez. And it is a pinch run for Hardy. Here's a dangerous Markakis. Good power. Swinging from the left side. Strike.
Taking note of Chavez's lead. He had a pretty good lead over there at first base.
Good numbers for Markakis against Mo. The 0-1. 1-1. Would they send Chavez? Hit sharply, grabbed by Jeter. There's one. On to first. Double play. Ball game over, and the Yankees win 2-1. Markakis hit it about as hard as you can hit it, but a nice play by Jeter to start the DP.
Yeah, the ball hit to his right, and he comes up with a kind of juggled it within the glove, but got it to Cano, and the strong arm completes the double play, and the Yankees have the win. Ball's hit hard to one hopper. There's a transfer to Cano and on to Teixeira, and the Yankees are in the win column.
This snaps a streak of 57 straight wins by the Orioles, in which they held their opponents to 2 runs or fewer. They win those games. While the Yankees scored just 2, and it held up with that double play. And Mariano Rivera obviously enjoyed that double play. He usually doesn't get many double plays because of the fact he strikes people out. They don't hit it hard with the broken bat, but he gets that one to end the game. Stick around for the postgame show to find out who's tonight's Chevy player of the game. Great pitching by the Yankees. Joe Girardi had to love it. Kuroda, Robertson, and Rivera. The Yankees win 2-1. We'll come back. We'll give out awards and wrap it up in the postgame after that.